Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a cold and dark startup on the MD-82 McDonnell Douglas. It is a beautiful aircraft made by Leonardo, and today we got it here sat on the ground in Salt Lake City, real time, real weather condition. We are going to just do a cold and dark startup with this aircraft. I'm going to show you guys the easiest way to do a cold and dark startup. Before we start, I just want to show you how the flaps are set in a downward leaning position. It is hydraulically pumped, so I'm going to show you that in the process of the startup as well. So let's jump inside and get the plane started up. So first things first, we're going to control, I think it's control 6, and we go to the overhead panel here. I'm just got a checklist here, so I'm just going to go through it to give you guys a quick and easy way to start up the aircraft, how I do it. Maybe not the I don't know if this is the correct procedures for this aircraft, but this will get it ready for taxi. So that's what we're going to do in this video today. Let's go ahead and turn on the battery, and you want to scroll your mouse wheel to let that line go across so that locks in so you don't accidentally hit the battery. So now that the battery is on, we're going to go ahead and turn the start pump to the on position, and then master APU, which is here. We're going to click it once and then hold it down for a couple of seconds and release. It's going to go back to run, and this APU, you'll see that needle start to move in a minute here. If you come to the outside back area, you'll be able to hear it start kicking in, and you should see exhaust coming out of these vents. There you go. You can hear it winding up. And you can start to see the exhaust blowing out the back there. And as we come up, you see it almost at 100%. Okay. Now that's done, you're going to see the left APU bus and right APU bus light feed right here come on. So what we're going to do is just click both of those to the on position, and as you could see, most of the airplane is going to start coming to life. Now that we have completed that, we'll move on. At this point is where you would be control 2, and our flight management system should be popping up momentarily. It takes about a minute or two for the power to go into that. So if you give it a minute, basically at this point in the flight, you would put in your flight plan. For the sake of this video, we're not going to be putting any kind of flight plan in. And I like to also mention that if you come up here to the autopilot panel, ALT, altitude hold, you can scroll to whatever feet they're going to give you for hold and pull that knob. That way alerts won't sound off inside of the aircraft while you are taking off. It will already have a preset altitude in, so that will help you to be a little bit less stressed out when you're flying the airplane. It's not yelling at you for warnings. Okay, now that that is complete, let's say we have our flight plan in, we set our altitude, and we also turned on our flight directors at this point, which would be if we had a plan in there, which we don't. We turn on, next step would be to turn on anti-collision lights, which is right here, to let people on the outside that we're doing stuff inside the aircraft and getting ready for a start. Then we want to come down here to TRAN and auxiliary AUX and put this to on. You're going to see these numbers starting to come up, and remember the flaps that I was telling you about? You see how now they're folded back to flat because the hydraulic system is now on and running. So it flat, you know, basically if your setting on your flaps here is all the way forward and your hydraulics is starting to pump through, it's going to level out your wing, and we can now use the flaps. We can set them back down if you like to show that they are working, but for this purpose of the video, we're going to leave them fully forward. not part of the startup procedure, but it is probably going to be in your flight plan to set them correctly for takeoff. All right, now that we did that, we're going to go to click vertical speed here. So the weight of the aircraft, which is down here, depending on whatever you put in for your fuel weight, once you set up your flight plan and you have your fuel weight set, you'll be able to come over here to your speed indicator and click, and this will set your V speeds and your rotation speeds for the aircraft for your call out. So you'll hear 80 knots cross check, V1 rotate, and all you have to do is click that, and then also it will give you information in here as well. You press to hold this iPad down, and you could put in, for example, if you were going to do a flight performance, you put in where you're at here in Salt Lake City, which is KSLC, and let's say we're taking off runway 5, and then and your weight. So your weight would be 58 right there, 58050. So 58050, calculate, and there is your V speeds: V1, V2, and VR. And you would just basically put that in order 1, 2, and 3 inside your flight management system before taking off. Okay, that is like a little side note, not part of the cold and dark startup. That's just for your flight planning to give you a kind of idea of how that works. All right, now that we put in our V speeds and we have everything set, we got to uncage our attitude indicator here. You just hit it once and one more time, and it will fully uncage it back to its position there. Then we're going to come down here to our flight. We can press control, I think it's control 5, and we have to put our radios to TARA, assuming that we are ready for our departure. Okay, and then we will go to our pneumatic crossfeed valves, which will pump in the oxygen into the engines, or air into the engine, I should say. And we just want to open these, so that will allow the airflow into the engines. Okay, now we'll come up here and we got to adjust the trim. You're going to hear a barking sound inside of the aircraft, which is totally fine, not a big deal there. Which you basically just hold this down, and that is called barking. Alright, now it's trimmed out. That's where you would like to have it. Just line those two lines up together there, and now we'll go back to the overhead panel. Now that we're on the overhead panel, we want to go ahead and turn, this is our fuel tank section here. We'll turn left, bottom and top, right, the bottom and top of the right. This is your center tanks for longer flights. Since we're not doing any kind of flight right now, you could use these for short, and then if you need to do a longer flight, you can use your center tanks. But mostly we are only going to focus on this today, so you can turn on both those tanks. And APU air now. So we gotta just come up here because we're gonna get ready for our engine startup. We can go ahead and put here's your APU section here, the same where the battery is. We put APU air 2 on. Okay, now you see your PENU pressure comes up to 4. You're going to need to have that at 4 in order for engine startup. So for example, if you accidentally hit one of these, it's going to drop, and you won't be able to rotate the engines with the air to get a clean startup. So you got to make sure that your PAC system, which is this air conditioning for the passengers, is turned off, so that this will stay at 4. Just give you a heads up in case you accidentally hit something before starting up the engine. You're wondering why is this not starting. Check your PNEU pressure. Make sure it's above 4 there or at 4 for startup. And then you can double check this to make sure it's in the off position. And then we want to come down here to seatbelt signs, turn that on, and also arm the emergency lights as well. All right, we're almost ready here. Okay, now we want to come back down to our panel for the lights here, and let's see what's the next step. We're going to turn the positioning light to position, which is one click down for now, allowing the people to know outside we were getting even closer for engine startup. If you come out on the outside of the aircraft, you will see on the edge of the wing here, the green and the red lights are now on, allowing the outside crew to know we're about to go for engine startup. Alright, at this point everything's flight planned in. You would probably request a pushback if you're at a gate, and then proceed to engine startup. So for engine startup, we got to go back to overhead panel, which is control 6, and we will go ahead for this point. We could use A and B, but since we're starting both and we're not doing the full procedure of the aircraft, we're just going to go straight to both for engine startup. And we're going to start with N1 or N2 I should say, on the right engine. We're going to hold this switch down, and I'm going to scroll down here. You're going to wait for it to come up to about 23% on the bottom right here. And once that does, we can go ahead and engage the fuel, and that should kick in the gearbox and start up the engine. Alright, that's 19%, 21%, 22%, almost at 23%. Okay, then what we do here is come down and scroll that forward. Alright, that's should ignite the fuel and kick in the gearbox. You'll see this EGT start coming up, and now we'll have good rotation. We'll wait for this to level out. Should level out at 56%. Once it stabilizes at 56%, we'll go ahead for engine 2 startup. And when that's in the process of stabilizing, just come up here and gate the startup. Alright, we'll wait for that to stabilize. It takes a minute because this is an older aircraft, so looks like it's good though. It should be stabilizing now. Okay, now that that's stabilized, we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the N1, which is the left engine. And we'll come down here, wait for 23%. Once we hit 23%, we'll go down to the start lever and engage the fuel to kick in the gearbox and rotate the engine 22%, 23%, and move the fuel lever forward. And that should kick in our gearbox. We're going to see the EGT come up now. There it goes. And we got a good engine start. Alright, there it goes. Alright, now that that is it's going to stabilize here in a minute. We'll just wait for it to settle out. Okay, perfect. Well, it's going to drop back down. Let's just wait. Okay, alright. That looks like it's sitting there. Good. Alright, now that engines are both on and stabilized, okay. Go back up overhead, close the switch up, and we'll turn the fuel pump right here to the off position, and this is the engage knob to the off position. APU bus, which is up here, can go off left and right because this is automatically cross-fed, not like the Boeings where you have to switch it over. And then we'll go ahead and turn APU air to the off position. APU master can now come off, which is gonna start dialing this back down slowly. And anti-ice protection, which is in this little area here. We're gonna go ahead and put the heat on cap, so we just click it once, and that should come up. There we go. I had it set on my Bravo throttle quadrant. Okay, and now that we have the heat, we can pretty much go back down to this position here. All you have to do is press this little plunger here, and that will release the parking brake, and we are now good for taxi. So if you just put a little bit of power in, take off the parking brake, we should start rolling forward and be ready for our departure. As you can see, we're rolling into a van. Alright. I'm just gonna stop here. And there you go. That is how you start up the MD-80 in cold and dark. Let's set the brake back again. And there you go. I hope that helps anybody who has any questions about the MD-80. It's a beautiful aircraft. It's made by Leonardo. Very, they say it's study level. It came out, I think, about a year ago. I bought this aircraft. I think it was like about $98, I want to say. But it is, I love it. It's a really great aircraft. It's been updated multiple times. It's really coming together. It did have a couple of glitches, but it's definitely worth the money if you're into this type of aircraft. Highly recommend it. The stairs work. The door opens, the stairs come down, which I can show you real quick here if you guys want to see that. You just go into aircraft and you can I don't know. Oh, there it goes. I think you have to make sure the brakes are set in order for some extra ones to pop up here. Okay, well, it's not allowing me to do it for some reason, but basically I'm just gonna the door opens and comes down, and the back stairs come down. Sometimes it doesn't let you, maybe because the engine is still on, so it won't allow you to open the doors. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy this aircraft. It's definitely something that I would pick up if you're into this. And one other thing I should mention is don't forget to put your packs on after the engine is started up for the air conditioning for the passengers. I have forgotten to do that, and they don't like it. I want to make sure that the passengers are cool and calm. Alright, well, that, my friends, is the MD-82 by McDonnell Douglas. Beautiful aircraft, and it's the maker of this one is Leonardo, the developers for Leonardo. I'm not paid for any of these. I've just given you guys an idea of aircrafts that I like and I enjoy flying. I hope you guys enjoy them too. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, if you do have it, how it's been for you. And we'll do a flight with this probably later on today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to the channel, and peace. Thanks for watching. Bye now.